rap-ish. I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list. Hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own. Tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues. Guess if you ain't at the table, you on the menu. And I'm that spitter, baby. They don't want you to see, but everybody's south of Capitol Hill's rocking with me. Boys smoke the trays and ponder getting their life together. I'm comfortable with my role, so I'm like, whatever. Me, I ain't got a job, but I work hard. And you don't work hard, but you got a job. The irony is I'm judged while you feel the applause. I'm slept on, that's why I had to set this alarm. My dudes is armed, I'm armed with this arm charm. Body banging like she got that cream from Barry Bonds. Yeah.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
That Dre season is here, a real hitter with a mic, I'm everything that they fear. With that hood ain't the same, I was all on their ass, I'm level-headed. So yo, my dudes love when I spaz, and I'm so over Seattle's passive-aggressive attitude. They don't call you back, what they really saying is F you. While I'm from the same place, I move at a different pace. I prefer if you just said it to my face, damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it
I hate
for
these
us.
average dudes with they average spit, writing average rhymes, knocking average chicks. The closer I get, I can feel the people starting to shift. I'm loyal to a fault, and everybody can't come with. Rap's a rich man's game, I'm only playing with change. They bang models and singers, I'm knocking my own flame, I'm different. The crowd, I move with the chosen few. Black thoughts, I could be the front man for the roots. No diamonds and gold, I'm on my sticks and stones. If we can see your panty line, you should have on a thong. My team is strong, through this fire we forged a bond. And they already know what it is when I get on. To the hearse, party like it's December 31st. When I'm on my deathbed, I probably cracking my nurse. You ain't got the bars to compete, I'm a verbal athlete. Deflating these boys so they say that I cheat. Damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Yeah. I should probably start by apologizing for the long wait, man. You know, I know I be tripping. But I'm not just a rapper, I'm an artist. And, you know, my creative process is a little bit different than most. Nonetheless, I want to welcome everybody out to the Dre's Experience. I got TCF in the building. My whole camp's here with me. I got the band in here laying this cool-ass vibe. And I'm Seattle's own. Let's get into it.
Grand Rising and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trey Holiday, and we got an amazing show lined up for you once again. Of course, it's always amazing and great energy when I'm in here with my guy, co-host with the most, Big O. What up, Big O?
Trey Holiday.
Hey.
It's always great energy when it's a Thursday.
Yeah.
This is my last day of the week, man.
How did I know that was coming?
You already knew that was coming, man. Good to see you. You know, we hung out last night over at Elliot's Oyster House around the corner. And that was my first time having, you know, I mean, I usually be somewhere it's like an oyster. They was like, oh, it's this one and this oyster. That was like 7, 8 different types.
Yeah, we were like, whoa, what? I mean, that was my first time being there at that place.
And
and
so some champagne, salt or something.
Yeah, there was some type of like frozen champagne thing. Oh, man, it was fancy.
Trey Holiday is extra bootsy, y'all. She said, oh, how'd you eat your oyster? I said, I'm put some hot sauce on it. It was good.
It was a good time.
Yeah, no, we got a great show lined up for everybody today. We've got Julia Jessie, co-host of Clapback Culture. She's going to be tapping in here in a little bit, talking about what we can expect tonight, and also, you know, touch on a few national news stories. And then we've also got Arami Walker, musician, author, and educator. She's in the building today. She's performing tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the Seattle Center. So you get to do the deep dive.
Yeah.
You always get to interview all the all the celebrities and musicians, and I be sitting over here with the politicians, and
We have our roles we
I
play,
need
buddy.
I need to talk to my manager about this. You know what I'm saying? Your camera don't never have no technical issues. Always perfectly lit. Man, goodness gracious. All right, let's get it going. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. I want to remind you that right now, yes, right now is the perfect time for you to tag and share the stream. Go ahead and tag and share the stream with people you feel would appreciate culturally relevant news and information emanating from right here in the Emerald City. I want to give a big shout out to our partners over at the South Seattle Emerald and also KBCS 91.3 over at Bellevue College. Remind everybody that you can listen to the Morning Update Show anywhere that you listen. Well, I just lost myself. Okay. Mr. Delgado, anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast. He's got SoundCloud up there on the screen, but you can also find us on Google, Spotify, and iTunes. All you have to do is search Converge Media Network. We're putting a link in the comments right now for hereforuswa.org, hereforuswa.org. Culturally relevant and curated information around COVID-19, the vaccine, boosters, and really a lot of resources as well for people who are vaccine hesitant.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we keep this message alive because we know that even though we're seeing regulations change, we're still seeing, cases of COVID. So you guys want to be sure that you go to hereforuswa.org. If you're still looking for your questions to get answered, maybe you're looking for resources in your area, check out that source.
All right. So this is City of Seattle Capital Access Program. Man, the time is literally on the clock. Tomorrow is the last day. Curtis, go ahead and put that link in the comments there. Capital Access Program. I think you can borrow. It's a loan program, but it's up to $150,000 for small businesses, 4% interest rate. And you talked to them the other day. Looks like it's a real program, and I'm hoping that people in our community are taking advantage of it.
Yeah. Also, too, it was interesting to hear that they are trying to do some different measures for those that don't bode well with interest rates, right? We know a lot of folks in our Muslim community, they can't really always access these kinds of loans. And so they're actually working around that as well. Oh, great to hear
word?
that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. They're trying to do something that'll be different than interest for those from that community that want to take part of this program.
That was one thing when I was living in the Middle East. Is hey man, the loan's just a loan. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't no interest in the game. So, but yeah, the deadline is tomorrow. This is a big deal. Don't let this opportunity pass our community by. So if you're a small business owner, or if you know somebody who could benefit from these resources, please share the link with them. For culture, they're in the bag. And I'm telling you, the amount of time they've given on this, the deadline is April 20th. And they've given a lot of time for this for the 2022 project grants.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is one of the things that I think we appreciate so much about For Culture is the lead time, but also it makes sure that artists are not scrambling to try to hurry up and apply for these funds. So if you're doing any projects around arts, preservation, or heritage, make sure you check out this opportunity. And again, for you who may be like, I don't know, I have an idea, I'm not sure. Hey, check it out. They're also helping you through the application process. So they'll let you know if what you want to do qualifies.
Right. Next week, it's Beloved Week here. It's the Beloved takeover of the Morning Update Show. There we go. Got the graphic up there right now. Beloved King County all next week. I see some of the interviewees. The names are coming in. We're starting off on Monday with Luther Lish. With the campaign, one of the big dogs over there in that campaign, and I see the different names are filtering in. It's going to be a real interesting and ultimately uplifting week next week with all these stakeholders in the gun violence disruption ecosystem.
Yeah, I really, I'm glad that, here at Converge, we get to be a part of this messaging because really it's such a beautiful way of looking at gun violence and gun violence disruption, infusing it with an artistic lens. So I'm excited to talk to these guests next week.
Yeah, no, good stuff. So I'm so happy today. Today, it's Thursday, so it's my last day of the week, but Throwback Thursday. And you remember we started Throwback Thursday just as a blog post like 3 years ago, maybe even close to 4 years ago. And it always got so much love in the community because people are like, what? They see pictures of the neighborhood and pictures of the community and everything else. And it's the inspiration when we moved into this studio to take these photos from yesteryear as a reminder. And so when we stopped doing Throwback Thursday for a lot of different reasons, a lot of what was news stuff, right? And you'd be overwhelmed by news and it's difficult to keep up on things. And it fell off. Well, Throwback Thursday is back. Thanks to Stephanie Johnson-Toliver and the Black Heritage Society of Washington State. This is number one right here. And this tells the story of Al Smith. And this is the Al Smith collection here that's on the wall. Al Smith took most of these photos on the wall. Here's Stephanie Johnson-Toliver talking about Al Smith.
Hello, everyone. Hello, community. I am Stephanie Johnson-Toliver, and I am president at the Black Heritage Society of Washington State. It's Thursday. It's my favorite day of the week. It's Throwback Thursday. And I'm going to take you on a journey of the beautiful photo mural wall here at Converge Media. How do we get started with the mural wall here at Converge Media without first starting with the story of Al Smith? Al Smith was the renowned photographer who photographed in the Central District of Seattle through the 1940s and 50s and into the 60s. He amassed a collection of images of more than 40,000. So you can see that the wall behind me is just this teensy small bit of what he has to share. His collection captured the Central District community, the lives, the everyday lives of Black people, the jazz scene, and just bits and pieces of birthday parties and house parties. He donated that collection of 40,000 images to the Museum of History and Industry in 2014. Al Smith received his first camera, which was a Brownie camera, at the age of 12. That's when it sparked his imagination about photography and all of his interest. Al Smith, a Seattle native, his family, his parents moving here in 1914 to Seattle Central District, Al was the first African-American student at O'Day High School. In the early 30s, he was intrigued by travel and wanted to get out of the city. He signed up for the Merchant Marines. Al met and married Isabel Izzy Donaldson in 1941. It's a whole nother story about Izzy. Her family came to Roslyn, Washington in the 1890s to coal mine. Al first put his eyes on Izzy at Annie Smith's Cafe, and Annie's was a site that was located in the Green Book. She waitressed there, and that's where he fell in love, and eventually they were married, had 2 children, Butch and Cheryl. There are photos of them on the mural wall. He advanced his hobby from photography to professionalism. He eventually started his own business on the spot in the early 1940s. He still maintained his work with the Seattle Post Office, but he really took off with that photography business. He would show up at jazz clubs, birthday parties. He was hired by a number of community members and social groups to photograph them. You can find more of Al's images at the MoHi website. Click on the Al Smith collection and you'll be able to see at least 500 of those 40,000 images. They continue to digitize his collection, so check back frequently to see what you can find. I should add that other images on this wall are images from the Black Heritage Society as well. So, again, if these walls could talk, you heard it here.
I love that. If these walls could talk. Well, we talk about it all the time, and really being able to do this work and really represent why Black media matters and how we show up for Black media. This wall right here says it all.
Right. And it also shows, like, an emphasis here at Converge of where, I mean, we've only got so much resource and there's only so many things we could do. And we kind of looked at ourselves and said, man, we need to put more of the resources that we do have into uplifting more of our stories, our history, and our culture. So glad to be back on air and with a whole new representation of Throwback Thursday. And we've stuck with it, went, like I said, from a blog post to now Stephanie Johnson-Toliver here in front of our iconic interview wall.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much more to uncover. I'm just looking forward to, I know, speaking with her, she's like, oh my goodness, to just dive into the history of even one photo, represents another episode of Throwback Thursday. So this is going to be fun.
Yeah, no, good stuff. All right, we're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, there she is, Julia Jessie, co-host of Clapback Culture. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
As a non-binary Black femme, a lot of my identity is rooted in body. Once the vaccine was introduced, it was really difficult to think in terms of safety as well as autonomy. As a Black American, the relationship with government is very complicated. It's hard to trust. A lot of these conspiracies are really impacting people making a decision, especially with Black folks, to be clear about what we're doing. I think it's just a well-rounded conversation to see what's best for us.
Hey there, it's Trey Holiday. And of course, Besa and I had to take a trip back to Market Street Shoes to grab some items. They always know what to show us. And let me tell you, we both spent quality time to be sure we collected some amazing additions to our wardrobes. They have some of the most unique bags, shoes, and accessories. I mean, the whole shebang. It's always a good time when I get to shop with my girl Besa. Make sure you go check out Market Street Shoes, y'all, and you too can walk out with some dope gear.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show, and we're joined now. Mr. Delgado, please bring in Julia Jessie.
Hey,
Julia.
Jules, what's up, girl? How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. I'm happy to see you guys. I'm happy it's Thursday too, even though Amari throws it in our face that he's off tomorrow.
Every single Thursday, I'm like, of course we're going to hear it from me. Well, tell us a little bit about what's going on Clapback Culture. I know we heard a bit from Mike Davis yesterday. Tell us what folks can expect tonight at 7 p.m.
Listen, Trey, I came through to drop the tea on everything ratchet tonight. There is a viral story, you guys. I'm not sure if you heard about it, but if you haven't, here it goes. There is a 24-year-old rapper who was actually shot and killed here in PG County, Maryland. Very unfortunate loss, but his family did something that caused a viral stir, you guys. So the rapper goes by the name Gunu. And rather than having a traditional funeral, they decided to host the funeral as a final show. So the funeral is called The Final Show. And it was held this past Sunday, April the 3rd, at Bliss Nightclub. What makes it even more interesting is that rather than having Gunu being put in a casket, they propped his body up on the stage. So you guys, imagine a nightclub, music, drinks, people smoking weed, the lights, the whole thing like a concert. And you have Gunu's body on stage propped up in a standing position and everybody just looking at him like a celebrity. To put 2 on the 10, the family charged $40 at the door. Stop what you doing. This has caused such a viral stir, you guys, that Twitter, Instagram, the news channels, like everybody is going nuts about this. So much so that Bliss nightclub had to release a statement. And basically representatives from Bliss say that they were contacted by their local funeral home to rent out the venue for Gunu's homegoing celebration, but they were never made aware of what would transpire. They apologized to everyone who may be upset or offended, but they wish the family well. Well, there is some clapback because the representatives from the funeral home say, actually, that's not true. We did not state whether or not he would be in a casket or if he would be standing, and the owner was okay with Markel being in the facility. So I don't know. This is apples and oranges, but at the end of the day, this is a ghetto mess. I don't know. What do you think, Amari?
Saying like in Bliss, like a high-end club?
It's a high-end nightclub. There's also a place where a lot of local artists and really a lot of like really nationally known artists will go and perform. So we don't have too many popping clubs in DC, but Bliss nightclub absolutely is what we would say, Omari, the runway of Dar es Salaam. So imagine that.
Man, yo, that's what I'll say this, right? This might be unique. Clearly, it's unique here. But in some cultures around the world, something similar is not quite uncommon. But
to have a standing pole.
Well, look,
have you ever been to something like that, Trey?
No, but I just gotta say, I'm sure that Gunu is probably like, wherever he's at, like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, fam. Like, exactly. I'm just saying, take me out in style. I mean, in some cultures, we talk about the celebration of life,
that's
right? And that's how. I mean, look, celebrate how he was living. You know what I mean? To be honest, I'm like, get it, family. I don't know.
What Julia didn't say though is whether she bought one of them $40 tickets was up in there popping it.
Can you imagine being someone just like being like, oh yeah, I'm about to pull up at Bliss, and you pull up and there's a whole concert going on and there's just a corpse on stage? When I first saw this video, you have to think, because I'm living local, this was dropped in the group chat before it even made national headlines. And I'm looking at the video and I'm like, what is going on? Like, I don't get it. What are they trying to see? And then finally I'm like, oh my God, that's a dead body. So here's my honest opinion on it, you guys. And I feel like his name is Markel Morrow. I feel like the Morrow family did Markel justice. He came in, or he left the same way he came in. I mean, and he lived and died, being in the streets. There is a Instagram live video that he had where he was, basically predicting his death, right? He knew that people were out to hurt him, and he died knowing that, right? And so when you live this particular lifestyle, I mean, are we going to put him in a church? Like, is that really what his legacy really was? I don't think so. And so I think his mother, who put together the arrangements, who was very proud of the arrangements, I think she did her baby justice. At the end of the day, she gave him a homegoing ceremony that she felt was that fit him and fit his lifestyle. And so it is what it is. I mean, he had like a $1,200 hoodie on, like a crown, jewelry, like the whole thing. I mean, it like, for real, y'all. So we're going to show the video on Clapback Culture. So make sure you guys pull up tonight and watch it.
Look, my heart dropped there for a second when she said we're going to show the video. I thought Mr. Delgado was going to press play. Yo, I mean, yeah. But see, the thing is though, right? It's almost like it's different, but it's almost like the gender reveal. Gender reveal started as a very like kind of normal thing. Oh, hey, it's gonna be a boy, it can be a girl. Now gender reveals are like off the hook to the point. Remember that California forest fire started because of gender reveal, and it caught fire, it burned out. Like, I'm wondering if this new phase here, if this is gonna become a trend.
That's literally what I was gonna say. I said, I'm thinking to myself, you know what, there's probably other families that go, you know what, nah, let's really reflect this homegoing celebration, this celebration of life. Let's not all have to be dressed in black and cry. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm gonna say, I think it's
most
a trend
people
I can
agree with all of that.
Yeah,
it's just the body.
Yeah, it's just the body being there. But hey, he's trying to like Bobby
nothing
too.
wrong with Hey, what else you got for us, Julia?
Yeah, on that note, I do agree. I think it is just the body, you guys. But can I also say, if you Google extreme funerals, this is not anything new. And if we're honest, like in the Black community, a lot of times, like when Big Mama passes or, Big Daddy, what do? We prop him or her in the living room, in the family room, and we let the family come and pass by the body. So in this case, it is a little bit different because they took the body into a public environment. But listen, they put my grandpa in the living room for a good while before the morgue came and picked him up. So we sat with grandpa in the living room for a little bit. It's a thing.
Yeah. And wow.
I know.
Not quite as extreme, but
No.
in Ghana, there's the casket makers. You get buried in a casket of your profession. So like if you're an airplane pilot, they make a casket shaped like an airplane and things like that. That's nowhere. And even those guys. Remember the pallbearers, the stepping pallbearers from Ghana. Everybody was like, "Oh man, this is because it was all about a celebration, and you get to synchronize pallbearers. This takes it to a whole nother level." You know what I'm saying? Wow.
Jules. Yeah, no, you guys always keep us lit. I'm gonna tell you right now. I mean, this right here, I can't wait to hear you guys dive in and to share the video.
No, my mama in the comments, she just said that. She's like, back in the day, they bring the body to the house.
Yeah.
You post it, flamboast it.
Yeah, for real.
Yes.
All right.
It's not. I guess it's not that unique.
Well, man, this is gonna go viral, dog. I'm telling you, that's gonna be the thing.
People are gonna start doing
concerts. Funeral concerts. Then it's gonna be like, yo, we gotta find a spot that's gonna allow us to prop up the body. Julia, Jessie, tell everybody how they can keep up with you.
Okay, well, I wish we didn't spend so much time on that because I did want to talk to you guys about one more thing, but I'm gonna let you guys know.
Oh no, make it short. You got a few seconds.
Okay, look. So, did you guys hear about the podcaster who made comments about Sierra and Russell Wilson's relationship? And he made the allegation and doubled down on it and said that Sierra is only with Russell Wilson because of the money. And then went on to say how Russell Wilson is such a square and how could she ever leave Future and all this other BS. Did you guys see that?
No.
Yo,
I couldn't believe it.
Last night. Yo, I mean, like, Sierra was already an accomplished, artist. And yeah, like that's the whole point. Like even Future says he's toxic. Yeah. So it's like, why wouldn't you want to be with Square Russ?
Well, also too, I mean, Sierra had been through some things, in her previous relationships, and she was very out front and vocal about her wanting, something that was going to be steady, a real love, and the way that she wanted to be treated. She made that very vocal.
What's wrong with that? Say, and we're less defensive now of Russ and Sierra since they abandoned us and they're in Denver now. But I will say this is fundamentally this really be a problem kind of in our community in that, the guy that goes to work, does what he's supposed to do, hella responsible and everything else, man. Again, he's considered an outlier in popular culture, And so here you got Russ, a square guy, does his job, goes to work every day and all this other stuff. Let Sierra dress him and everything else. And you consider like some old square, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Because I wasn't some kind of super square or something in high school, but I just did everything I'm saying supposed to do or wanted to do or whatever, stayed on that track, and I was always in a different kind of category. You know what I'm saying? Because all my partners and everything, it was popping it big, riding on Dayton wire wheels and doing all kinds of stuff, and all the girls loved them, man. And it ain't until 20 years later. You know what I'm saying? Where you bump into them and then they start hounding you on this. Oh, Omari. You know what I'm saying? Because, anyways. Yeah. That's what. So you guys are going to be talking about that podcast. Do you have the clip?
We do have the clip. I don't know if we have it here, but we do have the clip. And Listen, we have so
No,
much
you
to
definitely
chop it
don't
up.
have it here.
No, we don't have it here, but we will have a clip of the podcaster actually, talking about it. And his co-hosts are like, listen, women want peace. They don't want toxic masculinity. So we'll dive deep into that. And of course, another thing that went viral over the weekend was T.I. going off on a comedian about joking about his sexual assault allegations that were that he was non-criminally charged for. And he throws a fit. And this is why, and I hate to say it, but man, like comedians better watch out because people like Will Smith is getting up and slapping folks. So T.I. got up, he snatched the microphone from this comedian. So we're going to talk about that. Tory Lanez was taken into custody for violating the order of protection against Megan Thee Stallion in that case. And y'all, Black Lives Matter spent $6 million of donation funds to purchase a mansion in Southern California. We got to talk about it.
You should talk about it. And if you would have started the conversation there. One, I will say this is a very ratchet version of the show. And I hope everybody tunes in tonight at 7. But I will say this. A lot of people, a lot of organizations collected a lot of money, millions and millions of monies around the Seattle protests, and then protesters, they ain't getting no water. You know what I'm saying? They ain't getting no water. They ain't getting no new shoes to stay in the street in. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of organizations caked up, and the actual people who brought the pressure in the street, never heard from them. So it'll be interesting. Can't wait to tune in tonight.
Good grief. Jules, you always bring in the gems. And let me just say on that BLM story right there, a lot of people in the community were wondering what was going on with those funds because unfortunately, a lot of people who were donating didn't realize that, going to BLM, it wasn't an organized kind of a national affiliate. So you had all of these BLMs popping up everywhere. That's going to be really interesting for y'all to dive
also,
into.
I hope that you guys will break down some on that overall ideology around that toolkit. But from day one, we was telling people there's there is raising awareness around the value of Black lives. Black lives matter always. And then there's a difference between an organization, Black Lives Matter, and raising awareness around the value of Black lives. They took it to the streets. Yeah. A lot of the organizations, if you look at it, a lot of what they talked about was digital marketing and fundraising. No toolkits about how to be in the streets and stay in the streets and make your voice raised and everything else. So it's good people will see the back end of this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we, for the most part, stayed away from all that because we stayed in the streets with the people. You feel me? So, I'm interested to hear that conversation.
Yeah, great stuff.
Yes,
always great stuff.
All right, real quick, Julia, how can people follow you on social media?
All right, y'all, please follow us on Instagram at Clapback Culture and pull up to the show tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on all Converge media platforms.
Look, my mama clowning in the comment. She was like, they tried to give us $25,000. We gave it back. Yeah. Matter of fact, they didn't even give it back. Didn't even accept it. Yeah, exactly. Woo, that BLM. You done hit on something. All right, Julia, Jessie, co-host of Clapback Culture. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock.
Thanks, Jules.
Yes. See you later, guys. Have a good show.
Oh my gosh, these guys be having the topics.
I'm tuned in. I'm tapped in tonight.
Really,
this will be a good one. All right, we're gonna take a quick break right now. I'm gonna get off the set so we can make some room for. There she is, Arami Walker, musician, author, educator, coming right here to the Morning Update show set. Be right back.
Hey there, it's Trey Holiday. And of course, Besa and I had to take a trip back to Market Street Shoes to grab some items. They always know what to show us. And let me tell you, we both spent quality time to be sure we collected some amazing additions to our wardrobes. They have some of the most unique bags, shoes, and accessories. I mean, the whole shebang. It's always a good time when I get to shop with my girl Besa. Make sure you go check out Market Street Shoes, y'all, and you too can walk out with some dope gear.
When COVID first hit, I was very afraid. There was so much things that I had to keep inside because I didn't know where to place my feelings. Most of my information for code is from my own research. I'm a doctor in educational leadership, and when the FDA approved Pfizer, it helped me realize that the vaccination is healthy. We don't want to be left behind because we're not taking the vaccine, but we want to get as much information as possible so that we are putting ourselves in better hands and not at great risk.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trey Holiday, and joining me right now is an esteemed musician, educator, and author, Arami Walker. Thanks so much for joining.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm well. And it's so funny because coming into the studio today, I'm like, oh, I've seen you perform live. I actually got to see you perform some of your music. Tell us a bit about your history. What got you into music? Just tell us kind of the beginning.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I've always really loved reading poetry. I studied world arts and culture at UCLA, and I spent a lot of time in LA just kind of developing my craft as an artist and specifically what I want to focus on, how I want to tell stories, how I want to represent myself. And I did a lot of traveling. I studied culture, studied some languages. But yeah, I came up to Seattle about 5 years ago. So it's been great. I work a lot with For Culture, Smart Venture. I have a show with Artists at the Center tomorrow at 6 p.m. At the Theater Commons area in Seattle Center. So that's really exciting.
Well, we've talked to musicians before, and the thing is that, you being here for 4 years, I'm sure you may have been able to kind of plug into this artist community, right, of musicians, and it's so tight-knit here, but it also is very welcoming. Tell us about your experience coming from LA to Seattle, and maybe some of the differences that you've experienced in each kind of community.
I've found people in Seattle are really real, and it takes time to, there's like, people say that there's the Seattle freeze, because in LA, everybody's warm and hot, but you don't know if they're really giving you the realness or not. Where I found in Seattle, people are real with you, they either want to be a part of your music or they don't. Like, there's really no sugarcoating, which I appreciate. Like, I want to know, like, do you want to create something right now, and how is that going to manifest? And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's like with any other relationship. But I've been in North Seattle for a few years, but I spent some time in South Seattle. There's like Roomba Notes and Esquire Lounge, and I really found in Seattle specifically, more so than Los Angeles, like, there is such a deep appreciation for African-American culture and our music. And that's something that I found has been really enriching. And not only that, the government support, like on a local level, like in LA, everybody's an artist, right? Yeah. And I feel like in Seattle, you've got like KXP radio station. That's why I stayed. They had Mastering the Hustle. They had these workshops. I was going in studio. I saw like St. Vincent and Duran Jones and The Indication. I'm just sitting there watching as like an emerging artist is watching like in the glass like that. So those type of opportunities that you don't get to just walk into a radio station in LA. Like, I walked into the radio station and we were, right there with some of these legendary musicians playing. So opportunities like that are really unique. And just the fact that I can apply to local government and say, hey, I want to write this book, or hey, I want to put on this performance, and they'll put money. It took about 3 years, but then they were like, okay, she's showing up and she's doing something. So it took about 3 years, but now it's kind of like they see me. And so that's what I appreciate about Seattle. It's like once you prove, to art and culture here that you have something to say, they will give you
That's
a microphone.
Well, it's true. And I love hearing the juxtaposition between Seattle and LA. And as somebody who's born and raised here, I never understood the Seattle freeze. And I always really attributed to, a bunch of transplants, to be honest. I'm like, it's because people are trying to figure it out when they get here. But for those of us that are born and raised here, I never actually felt that from my community. But I've heard some of my elders say, oh no, it's always been a real thing. So it's a wide discussion about that. Well, you were talking about being a world traveler and your studies in college. What was it about music? Because you're talking about poetry, which we know transcends really well into songwriting. But what was it for you where you were like, you know what? No, music is really it for me. That's going to be that kind of anchoring force.
I think so. I started with spoken word, and that's obviously very important in our community, right? And I found just music has that additional element of, constructed sound waves, right? There's the voice, but the sound waves that the, guitar instrument carries, and the band that uplifts and carries the voice as a vehicle, has such a stronger power of community and message. And not only that, I really love studying like the medicinal elements of how sound, if it's sent in a directed, intentional way, it makes for a like uplifting, inspirational, sometimes rejuvenating experience. And that's how I look at it. And studying in different spaces, whether it's like South America or Asia or Europe, it's always, music is everywhere. Whether it's for a celebration, or people are sad, or they're trying to get through a war, they're trying to get through your own personal battles, or you want to heal someone, and that's what I view as the voice, is you can uplift someone, you can change someone's life. And I think also with the instrument itself, you can also do that. So I just wanted another voice, that's why.
Well, it's really great to kind of hear that and to have you talk us through how you got there. One of the things that I really appreciate so much about artistry is that it's unique to every artist, right? There's always that kind of origin story that got you to where you are today, that got you to be like, you know what, like I do have something to contribute to this, world of music. And, being around the world, you just experiencing it in different cultures and in different areas of the world. What do you feel that you are like, you know what? No, I'm now here in Seattle, right? I mean, you're talking about the uniqueness of the Seattle culture and the community here, but it's important that people get to know you. How are you getting yourself out there? Obviously, your performance tomorrow is one way, but how have you been able to make those connections here so that people do know, hey, this girl is serious. She's out here.
It's been a journey for me because I am an independent artist. And so that means I have to run my website, and I have to make I have to find money to record the music and all these things. And I would say I have to get better with social media in terms of connections. I'm more of I show up at the space and I meet the people, and they're like, okay, cool. Like, this is, I believe in this. But for me, my perspective as an artist is, and what I've studied is, I try to be myself. I try to express the uniqueness that I bring to the table. Some people like it, some people don't. And I show up and I make the best art that I can, and I know for a fact, it's not going to resonate with everybody, but it's just about being your true distinctive self. Just like, you have you have beautiful glasses, and you are painting and how you represent yourself with your fashion, and that's distinctly you, and so I try to do the same thing with my music. Like, I just show up and I'm here. You know, I just woke up today and I was like, I'm going to show up. I don't know what's going to happen. So I think it's, for me, I'm just going to keep showing up and I'm going to do the best I can. I'm not like the best at, marketing or anything like that, but I'm just going to keep showing up.
Yeah.
Someone will find it. Like, that's what I believe. Like, you know, if you keep on making a great art and you're true to, like, I'm Arami. That's all I can do. You know, I'm not trying to be anybody else. Like, I'm being myself. I'm going to keep showing up. And hopefully some people will like it, you know?
Well, that's the greatest thing about it. I think authenticity really carries through for a lot of people. And it's a big draw, you know, right? I'm not the greatest at marketing myself. People are always like, how do you not have 10,000 followers on Instagram and stuff? And I'm like, that takes like some intentionality for me to be involved in a digital world where I'm very much in the like real world of like people, like you say, showing up. So I definitely understand that. But not only are you a musician, you're also, you find time to be an educator and to be an author. Tell us a little bit about the education piece and how you're giving back to the community through education.
Yeah, I mean, I teach some private music lessons when I have time. I haven't been teaching as much, but I am passionate about teaching. I'm actually doing a project with Seattle Restored in the Pioneer District. In regards to my book, for 2 months on Yesler, I'm going to have an exhibition of my poetry book and some illustrations. So that's through Seattle Restored and Shunpike, another amazing, you know, organization that's uplifting arts and just allowing a woman of color to occupy space in Pioneer Square in a historic district, you know, and say, you know what, we validate your words, you know, and these illustrations. And I, so that's something that's coming up. And I actually, so this is what my book looks like, if anybody is interested. It's called Poems in Transit, and it has a lot to do. I mean, it's just really just talking about myself and my relationship with myself and my identity and my perspective on the world and culture. But yeah, so that's going to be up through Shunpike and Seattle Restored for 2 months in the summer, as like a large scale kind of like the book in large scale.
That's so dope. I mean, when we think about how art is so transformative, it really takes people to pour themselves into it in order for it to really like touch someone else. Tell us a bit about the difference between writing poetry and songwriting. How do you distinguish between the two? Because it's almost as if they really can blend together.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, it all kind of flows, right? Like, you know, you're writing, you'll be like, oh, that's a good story for a song, or that's a good concept for a song. I feel like with poetry, you don't have to be thinking about rhythm or melody or like repetition. You know, songs got a lot of repetition, right? Like that's what people want, the hook, you know, like the tagline. And when you're writing a poem, you can really elaborate on the story. You can really get into detail. With the song, I think with popular music, people kind of just want, you know, they want that tagline that they can vibe to. And like with poetry, you can really be like, you know, and the mahogany wood, you know, cast a beautiful you know, whatever it is, you can get really deep into it. But yeah, no, I've been looking at the medicinal property of music making and whether it's healing myself and poetry as well. Just I think a lot of, especially Black people, have always used that as a means of adjusting to society and pushing through society and carving space and you know, empowering our word. And you know, I look at all these people behind me and I think, you know, because of their agency and their fearlessness to make music, I get to be here today. I got to drive here in my, you know what I mean, in my own car and have my own space in Seattle and just make music and talk about it, you know, because of them, you know.
Yeah, the legacy is real. And, you know, that's something that I literally get to experience daily, being in the presence of this wall, but also being connected to community. So, Arami, I'm so glad that you came to Seattle, that you found, you know, like a home here for yourself, your artistry, your music. I know you have the performance coming up tomorrow. You can look right there, make sure people know how to follow up with you and how to be there to you know, support your music tomorrow.
Yeah, so come by tomorrow, 6 p.m., Seattle Center. You know, if you go by the water fountain, the Theater Commons is like right up, I guess, kind of to the left, kind of near KXP. You'll hear me playing. Tyler, the Creator's playing in the Climate Pledge Arena, so that will be dope. You know, just come and support and follow me at my name, Arami Walker. On Instagram, YouTube. I have a website, AramiWalkerMusic.com, Spotify, Apple, all that. I really appreciate the studio, Converge, like everything about this space is really important to me. And I'm just I'm in such a exuberant celebration that you guys exist here, you know.
We're glad we exist
and
too.
I hope that it continues. You guys stay here for a long time.
Yeah, there we go. And just so people may want to know, how do they get the book?
So if you go on my website, Poems in Transit, but on my website, all of my books are there. I have a children's book, music, and a wellness self-care book for women. It's a journal. So yeah, amazing. I'm just out here creating.
There we go.
Boom, boom, boom.
Putting it out there. Well, Arami Walker, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank
and good
you.
luck on your performance tomorrow at the Seattle Center. Glad that you're here. And I'm telling y'all, I've actually had the pleasure of listening to her live, and it was so soothing. And we didn't want you to stop. So I know how dope you are. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, you guys, you know, we got to end the show right with my guy, Big O, after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
When the pandemic hit, it did affect me. As a barber, I had my own personal reasons why I didn't get vaccinated. At the time, I didn't check the actual source. I thought the vaccine was developed too fast, but I was talking to a doctor and he was telling me more about the vaccine and what it can do to protect us and our family. I wanted to get back to that once was, right? I do feel safe knowing that I am vaccinated. I just hope what I'm saying is reaching into people's heads to know that this is the best decision for all of us.
Hey there, it's Trey Holiday. And of course, Besa and I had to take a trip back to Market Street Shoes to grab some items. They always know what to show us. And let me tell you, we both spent quality time to be sure we collected some amazing additions to our wardrobes. They have some of the most unique bags, shoes, and accessories. I mean, the whole shebang. It's always a good time when I get to shop with my girl Besa. Make sure you go check out Market Street Shoes, y'all, and you too can walk out with some dope gear. Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trey Holiday, and joining me back on the set is my guy, Big O. Great show today, Big O.
Yeah, no, great interview, by the way. Yeah, I know where I'll be tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
There we go.
You know what I'm saying? And going and supporting and encourage everybody out there to support. Before we end the show here today, some breaking news from Washington, D.C. The Senate has just confirmed Ketanji Brown Jackson. So she will be the very first Black woman to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court.
There we go. There we go. I mean, this is really something to celebrate. And, you know, we saw her go through it. We actually knew that she was going to. But ultimately, I love that this is great timing for us as a nation. Shout out to you, Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, we're getting ready to wrap it up over here. But tonight, so we got a few things. 7 o'clock tonight, Clapback Culture. You know, we just heard Julia Jessie, man. It's the ratchet episode. So you definitely want to check that out. 9 o'clock tonight, the Factors are in the building. Ronald and Ronell Moore. All right, so you can get up on that. And then what do we got up next over there?
Yeah, we got a
You
lot.
got the form.
So
What
yeah,
else
up
is
next, yeah, we got a lot for Feel Good Friday tomorrow, you guys. Of course, we're gonna have our girl T Dub in the building, Art Queen, right here at Converge Media. She'll be joining us. We'll be diving into all things art of the matter and all things art on the streets. And then we also have, I want to make sure I'm doing it in the right order. What you got up there, Curtis? Because we got. Okay, good. We got Besa. All right. Besa, rewind with Besa. Wanting to make sure we can get in with Besa because we got a couple of other guests. We also got our guy, Isaiah Anderson is going to be in the building. We're going to be talking about this new play with Acts on Stage. Can't wait to dive in with him. And Josias will also be here. He is an author. So we get to hear from him. And then we got Apple, A for Apple Daycare. She will be joining us in the building. They're doing an amazing coat giveaway this weekend. So I'm telling you, tomorrow's going to be jam-packed, y'all.
All right, good stuff. We're going to wrap it up here. Any last words?
Always, for me, see yourself as a part of the solution. Arami is doing that herself by, infusing her artistry and poetry and music and educating other people. You guys, be a part of the solution. Do your part to see yourself as a part of the solution.
All right, good stuff. Well, this is it for me this week. And yeah, I guess I'll catch you guys next week. It's beloved takeover next week. So on that note, want to remind you, go forward in your purpose, go forward in your humanity. And until tomorrow at 11 a.m. Peace.
What do I see through a lens of fear? 1,000 little steps to go. What do I fear after all these years? Lord knows I don't even know. I've been running on the edge of a sundial, sleeping in the shadow. I've been begging you to see me, then hiding beyond the unreachable. Looking out left on a right-hand turn, just trying to make the deal. A lazy shoes and love is a love that's earned. That's the kind of food that heals. I've been searching for the end of an era, waiting to be ready. The world is bigger than a moment. Be steady, that's how you can feel it's real. But I feel naked in my new clothes, 'cause I got used to hiding the holes. This old world got new tricks and I'm in the thick of it. This I swear I'm already sick of it. At least I found the antidote. Oh, I know no one is a shadow. 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 No one is a shadow. But I feel naked in my new clothes, 'cause I got you.